I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired as fuck again. Sorry, very late. I really wanted to go to bed a little sooner than this, but it was fun. I was on stream with the guys, so Celtics played the Nets today. That was a close game for no reason. We had the Thunder, the Pistons, Bulls, Rockets game. Pacers, Bucks is always going to make for some good basketball. There were actually a lot of good games on today, so let's kind of get into it. I'm going to probably speed run this a little bit, but Celtics Nets. Kristaps Porzingis scores 24 in his return. Would have been nice to have him against the Thunder. To help the Celtics hold on, they beat the Nets by 2. Again, shout out to Kristaps Porzingis. Great scoring night for him. 8-game absence with an illness. I don't know how the fuck you miss 8 games for an illness that is over 2 weeks of basketball. Doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess people deal with sicknesses in different ways, but me personally, holy shit. Me personally, I get like 2 days of sickness and then I'm fucking good, but yeah, great fourth quarter for him as well, and they get the W. Throwing it down on the defense, being the dominant big that again we needed in that Thunder game. Sadly, we didn't get it. Yeah, man, just throwing it down again and again. Really good basketball. Obviously, Cam Johnson's going to be a 3-point threat. He's always going to make it tough. Sorry if my camera looks shitty. Last video I'm recording at the home studio. Just hang in there with me. I mean, even Zaire Williams was playing really good and hitting threes for them. So, what else? Looking at the Celtics, yeah, man, 20 points for Jason Tatum. Not the greatest game in the world, but we had a cushion with Porzingis returning, putting up 24 points. Drew Holiday, probably the first time in a while I've talked about him on the channel, but he had 11 points, 12 assists. Peyton Pritchard had 22 points off the bench, well on his way to having a Sixth Man of the Year. Very heavy case to win Sixth Man of the Year. I don't know why my light is like that. I think it's like, I don't know. Looking at the Nets, I mean, 23 points and 10 rebounds for Cam Johnson. You get a 21-point game for Keon Johnson. They played pretty decent. I mean, obviously, like, Day'Ron Sharpe could be a little bit more of a scoring option. And they have Jalen Wilson, and they have, they even have, like, Maxwell Lewis. Like, they're trying out guys on the bench, and they're just trying to kind of experiment a little bit. But Day'Ron Sharpe's a great rebounder. I got to give him credit. He's a really good big man. I think he's going to be decent in this league for a while. So that's kind of my evaluation on that. I don't really know. I don't have much to say about that game. Moving on to the Thunder and the Pistons, 2 really good basketball teams, and my fucking goodness, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having an absolutely fantastic season scoring. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scores 48 points. The Thunder hold off the Pistons by 6. Insane scoring night for Shai. Again, this is going to go down as one of the better scoring seasons probably since like the last couple of years of Luka, and they get the dub. Absolutely goes off. He fucking snaps now. Obviously, Isaiah Stewart is big, and he played pretty good, and Jalen Duren was getting to the rim. But, man, SGA on that offensive end, he is so filthy, dude. He just maneuvers around, such a clean player. It's made for some great basketball. These are 2 really good basketball teams. 12 points, 10 rebounds for Isaiah Hartenstein, and man, oh man, 48 points for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He shot 67% from 3. Obviously, shout out to Cason Wallace having one of his better games of the season, 20 points off of 50% three-point shooting. He also shot 60% from the field. Love that. You look at the Pistons. Pistons didn't play great. I mean, Dennis Schroeder did have like 17 points, 11 assists off the bench, shooting 50%. I don't know. I guess you need a little more out of guys like Jalen Duren and Oscar Thompson. I'm not going to be quick to blame Cade Cunningham. But yeah, man. I mean, Isaiah Stewart, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, again, those make for some really good bench players. I don't know. Oscar Thompson and Jalen Duren could definitely be better. Now, obviously, they give Dennis Schroeder and Malik Beasley a lot of minutes off the bench, but I think Isaiah Stewart should maybe get a little more minutes, and they should give Jalen Duren a little rest every once in a while. I think it's just kind of a rotational thing for them, but it is what it is. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about the Bulls and the Rockets. Bulls get themselves in a competitive game, and very similar to like the Trailblazers, very similar to honestly like a team like the Nets in the East. The record doesn't really show the full story with this team because they get in a lot of really close games. Obviously, they can't close them, and that's not great. But, yeah, Jalen Green scores 28. The Rockets beat the Bulls by 3. Extend their winning streak to 6 straight games. There are a lot of really hot teams in the NBA right now. But, yeah, Jalen Green just being a scoring weapon for this team. Made for some really good basketball. Obviously, Alperen Sengun's going to be a big man. He's going to get to the rim and play really well. And Fred VanVleet has been back in their lineup for a little bit now, and he's been their 3-point threat. But, obviously, you got to give credit to guys like Julian Phillips, a young guy trying to help the Bulls hit some tough shots. But yeah, man, Alperen Şengün played really well on both sides of the ball too. Got to give him credit where credit is due. Kobe White, not the greatest shooting splits, but I mean, he had 23. He is kind of the guy that the rock is getting handed to. Not a great game for Kevin Huerter. One of the first stinkers I've seen out of him. They have Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams on the bench to kind of give him some support. Both of those guys honestly probably deserve more minutes. I've shat on Patrick Williams recently, but those two played really efficient off the bench and didn't play near as much as they probably should have. So there you have it with that. The Rockets had a 24-point, 15-rebound performance from Alperen Şengün, who shot 50%, 23 points for Fred VanVleet, and 28 points for Jalen Green. Again, that big three is kind of back in full swing for this Rockets squad. So that is awesome. Moving on to the Pacers and the Bucks, we've talked about a couple of their games this season. They make for really good basketball. They make for really fun hoops. The Bucks take a big lead and then hang on down the stretch. They beat the Pacers by 7. Two teams that are in similar positions in the East. Two teams that are actually really hot in the East and playing really good right now. Giannis played very, very well. Good scoring, good ass rebounding, great rebounding, and even doing a little bit of playmaking in there. And obviously he fouled out, but he was able to put up some pretty efficient minutes in the process, and they beat the Pacers. Obviously Tyrese Haliburton, he's a lengthier point guard than some, so he knows how to get to the rim and score on all levels. Really good game of basketball. Obviously, Damian Lillard's going to be a three-point threat. Actually, real quick while we're at it, let's peep the fantasy team. Got to see what we're working with here. Just going to kind of check in here. Trey Murphy didn't play great, but 21 points is fine. Naz Reid, we got to wait for him to play tomorrow. I don't know why I keep sleeping on Devin Vassell. He keeps playing really good, and I keep putting him on my bench. But, yeah, good basketball. Again, Damian Lillard's going to be a three-point threat, and then Giannis is going to be able to finish down low. So, yeah, and of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a great two-way player, so that makes it tough. 26 points, though, for Pascal Siakam. Great game for Aaron Nesmith, kind of the type of Aaron Nesmith stuff we were seeing out of their playoff run last year. He had 30 points. Fantastic game for Tyrese Haliburton, I think. 24 points, 15 assists. He shot 33% from three. It's just Andrew Nembhard could have played a little better. Now, obviously, they have Obi Toppin, and they kind of bring him in as their sixth man. But I don't know. I guess Obi Toppin even deserves to play a little bit more for these guys. It is what it is. Checking out the Bucks, man, 34 points, 10 rebounds for Giannis. Again, a great game. Damian Lillard put up 25 points, 10 rebounds. He shot 50% from three, so those two played really well together. Again, these star players, kind of the whole reason the Bucks got them together. I'm not jacking off, by the way. I'm playing with my drawstrings. But whole reason they brought this star power together is for them to complement their game well. And in games like this, against teams like the Pacers that are very fast-paced, Dame and Giannis get it done there. We have 3 more games still to talk about. Let's get into the Pelicans and Spurs. Again, two teams that are kind of out of it at this point, but it's worth talking about. Devin Vassell scores 22 points, and the Spurs hold off the Pelicans, who are obviously without Zion Williamson. Now, in this point of the season, you only have 15 games left, and you are 32 games below 500. Just tank, go for the Cooper Flag sweepstake, have the Duke guys on the team together. That's awesome. So, yeah, again, shout out to Devin Vassell, though. Great scoring night for him. Get a victory. Jeremy Sohan was out there hitting tough shots and really good basketball, and CJ McCollum was fighting back a little bit. And yeah, Jeremy Sohan played really well on both sides of the ball, I think. And he was making plays, hitting threes here and there. I think the Pelicans actually played a really good basketball game, for who they were having, because Matkovic came out there, had 12 points, 11 rebounds. He shot 60%. You get a 26-point performance for CJ McCollum, and you get a 20-point performance for Trey Murphy III. Now, their bench isn't great. Jordan Hawkins really isn't playing as well as they need him to, and he's not really playing as well as what they intended for him for and what they drafted him for. But he's still pretty young in the NBA. So, there you have it. Yeah, man, 22 points for Devin Vassell. Kind of a one-man show out there getting it done. So, shout out to the Spurs. I guess they're still trying without Wemby and without De'Aaron Fox at this point. I think at this point they're kind of just giving their young guys a shot, which is not always a bad thing. As we move into Knicks and Warriors, a really low-scoring game, but a really gritty ABC primetime game that was really fucking good. Steph Curry has 28 points. Steve Kerr becomes the Warriors' regular season victory leader. It feels like the Warriors are just hitting more and more milestones as time goes on. They get a 3-point win over the Knicks. yeah, man. Steph Curry became the first player in NBA history with 4,000 three-pointers, and since then he's been carrying the momentum forward, scoring at a very high level and even grabbing some rebounds and dishing out assists. So he's had some very consistent play recently. Draymond put him to sleep with the dagger layup. That's why it's in the title. Imagine getting gamed by Draymond Green this far in his career, like at all in his career. I mean, he was really good at Michigan State, but getting gamed on by Draymond in the NBA, well, not gamed, but he hit the dagger layup. So that was fun. Got the crowd on their feet. Karl-Anthony Towns tried. I mean, obviously no Jalen Brunson, and we're hearing that he's not supposed to come back until like early April or some shit. So there's that. Cat was trying to pour in some buckets, but it just wasn't happening for him. And when, again, Steph Curry gets hot, when he gets fucking hot, it's pretty much over for your team, and he's been doing that a lot recently. So shouts at him. 3 after 3 out of him, and yeah, looking at the Knicks, you get a 23-point performance for OG Anunoby, who shot 67% from 3. You get a 29-point, 12-rebound game for Karl-Anthony Towns, who shot 60% from 3. Josh Hart, I mean, he can pass, he can rebound, he can be the gritty role player, but he did a whole lot of fucking nothing. I mean, give guys like Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson, Cam Payne, and Landry Shamet a chance for fucking crying out loud. And I'm just now finding out, actually, that PJ Tucker is still on this team. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Give some other guys a fucking chance. Again, I know Josh Hart's a glue piece, and he was a big part of, the Villanova runs and building up the camaraderie and the chemistry. But come on, dude. Like, 0 points in 39 minutes. I don't think any NBA player should record that type of stat line. You look at the Warriors, 28 points for Steph Curry. Really was doing it all, and he has been doing it all. I mean, obviously, I got to give credit to Jimmy Butler, who's been trying to do a little bit of everything, get kind of integrated into this Warrior system, but Steph Curry put on a show. Got to give him credit. Moving on to the Wizards and the Nuggets. I'm not sure how the Nuggets lost to the Wizards. That's very fucking weird for me to say, but Jordan Poole's three-pointer with 2.1 seconds left gives the Wizards a 3-point win over the Nuggets. Hit a huge 3. Again, this is a team that shouldn't be winning fucking games, but they came out here and they beat the Nuggets, so that is why I'm talking about it. The fact that it's even a close game, let alone them winning, is fucking crazy. 35-footer, man. Jordan Poole doing what he used to do so well on a team I just talked about, which is the Warriors. Again, sorry if my camera's a little fucked up, but yeah, I mean, Alex Sarr played really good against Nikola Jokic. Now, obviously, Nikola Jokic doesn't pose as much of a defensive threat or anything, but he played pretty decent. Solid game. Yeah, Jordan Poole was hitting a lot of threes, and even guys like Keyshawn George were getting out there and hitting threes. So it was all fun. 34 points for Alex Sarr. My God, that kind of shows, the detriment of Jokic at the rim. I'm not going to lie to you. 16 points, 13 rebounds for Julian Champagnie, who shot 40% from 3, 60% overall. Pretty good game for them. They just kind of put everything together. Nuggets didn't play terrible. I mean, 20 points, 11 rebounds for MPJ. He shot 50% from 3. You get a 40-point, 13-rebound game from Jokic. I don't know how they lost this game. 22 points, 11 assists for Russell Westbrook, who shot 50% from 3. You get a 24-point performance for Jamal Murray. Obviously, you'd expect a little bit more out of Christian Brown, maybe, because everyone else on the starting lineup is doing their thing. But it's not like he played bad. Every shot he was given, he made them. That was a bizarre game, and obviously they don't really have that much depth off the bench, if I'm being honest with you, so I don't really know. They got to wait for a guy like Aaron Gordon to come back for sure, to kind of push Russell off onto the bench and have that bench depth. Very bizarre game, though. Looking forward to Sunday's games. I'm not super excited about a whole lot of these games. I mean, the Thunder are playing the Bucks on ESPN tomorrow night, so I guess that's something. I guess we're really just watching like the college basketball conference championships. That's really what everyone's hyping up. Interesting. So, yeah, obviously there's games getting rescheduled from like January due to the wildfires and stuff. But yeah, if there's good games on tomorrow, I will be here to talk about them. Thank you guys for the support. I'm getting ready to drop a Playboy Cardi video. I have like 20 minutes, maybe even under 20 minutes left of the first part of the video to edit, and then I'll work on part 2 kind of throughout the week. I have a lot of schoolwork. I'm going back. I'm coming back from spring break, so there's that as well, obviously. But I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try for the content. I'm going to still do these every single night for the NBA just so we can kind of have some supplemental stuff to give to you guys. There were a lot of really good games on tonight, though. Really hyped about that.